Welcome back. So how did you go in trying to decide where your personality fell? Now, don't worry too much about it. We're going to come back to it later in more detail. But what I want to go through right now is key principle number 3. So remember, mindsets was 1, personality was 2. Number 3 is the key principle all around energy inputs. This is what we put into our body. Now, this has a great effect on us. You know, in the past, we used to think it was just about calories and how much actual physical energy we could burn. But now we know that there are lots of nutrients that affect all sorts of processes in the body. So if what we're putting into our body doesn't provide us with the minerals, the carbohydrates, the protein and the nutrition that we need, then things start going wrong, whether it's in our physical body and energy levels or whether it's in the way that our mind processes information. Energy inputs are so important. Literally every choice that you make around food is almost like a choice of how you're going to nourish your particular cells. You know, we generally just think about eating because we're hungry. We go, God, I'm hanging out for, that meal, or I'm really craving that food. And we think about it from the perspective of a desire for a particular food. When actually underneath that, there's probably a desire for some specific nutrients that you might be lacking. So understanding energy inputs is all about paying attention to the signals your body's sending you. Now, some of you may have been doing this for a while. You may have paid attention to the signals that your body sent around foods that you might not like. So you eat a certain food and your stomach doesn't feel so great, or you get headachy, you feel really lethargic or maybe bloated. Now, some people tune into that and go, you know what, maybe I shouldn't eat those foods. But other people go, no, look, I'll just take an antacid, or I'll take a Panadol for the headache. So they're not actually listening to the feedback that their body's giving them about foods that don't suit them. Now, one food might suit one person and give them lots of energy and make them feel great, while the same food for another person can make them feel really sluggish and unhappy. So it's not about saying one type of food is perfect and other types of food aren't. It's about listening to what your body is telling you. So I want you to think about, how do you nourish your body? Do you eat your 5 vegetables and your 2 pieces of fruit a day? Do you choose lean protein? I mean, do you even know what protein is? And how do you choose your carbohydrates? Is everything out of a box, with writing on it that's been really, really processed and is full of fat and sugar and salt? Or are your carbohydrates in a more natural form, like unprocessed grains and things that haven't had lots done to them? Because at the end of the day, the less that human beings have interfered with your food, the better it is for you. I've got a friend who talks about you need to be able to pluck it, hunt it, right? Or pull it out of a river. And if you can't do that, then the food's probably not that good for you, because your digestive system has developed over thousands and thousands of years, and it actually isn't able to cope with a lot of the stuff that's in our processed foods. A lot of those things involve chemicals and hormones that your digestive system just doesn't have the enzymes to break down. And in fact, some of those things end up staying in your system, in your fat cells, or affecting your brain chemistry for days, weeks, and in the case of some things, maybe years. That's a scary thought, isn't it? A lot of synthetic preservatives and flavourings and sweeteners do that. They can't be processed by the body, so they sit in your fat cells, and every time you exercise, they get stimulated and they make you have sort of like a fluey feeling. That's actually toxins within the fat cells being churned up, run through your blood system, and then either burnt or going back into your fat cells. Now, it's not something we really want to put ourselves through on a regular basis. So the idea of this module is for you to start to become aware of what your choices are around food. I also want you to think about what you drink, because there's an enormous amount of nutrition can come from what you drink, or a lot of junk can come in what you drink. And for me, the very best thing that you can drink is water. And it doesn't have to be fancy water out of a bottle, just a water out of your tap that's got a filter on it so that you don't pick up heavy metals. If you're drinking regular amounts of water, around about 7 to 10 glasses a day, then you're going to keep your body well hydrated. Your cells are full of water, and your cells need that water in order for things to travel and be carried around the body. Your blood is made up of water, and if you get dehydrated, then it affects all sorts of things. And did you know that by the time you actually feel dehydrated in your mouth, you're really dehydrated? So what we need to do is proactively drink fluids, and hopefully mainly water, to keep ourselves well hydrated. Turning to sugary drinks, turning to carbonated drinks, turning to alcohol, or drinking too much coffee really doesn't help you with hydration. And what it does is it adds loads and loads of calories. You know, a lot of people don't think about the calories in alcohol and they watch their diet really carefully. But you know, one beer is pretty similar to drinking a small glass of oil. Now, I don't know about you, but how many of you would drink 5 or 6 glasses of oil a day? But it's not uncommon in Australia for people to have 5 or 6 beers. The calories are pretty much the same. So next time you have an alcoholic drink, I'm not saying don't have it, but think about it in moderation. It's a sometimes food. It's not an everyday food, and it's certainly not a great way to get hydration, because alcohol actually causes you to lose fluid and become dehydrated, as well as loading up the liver and slowing down its ability to process the food that you eat. Carbonated drinks are just as bad. They have loads of calories in them if they're sugar added, but carbonation actually causes your bones to lose minerals. So when you drink that soda, what's happening is the carbonation is causing a bond to be formed with the minerals in your bones, and the carbon atoms actually pull the minerals out of your bones and you pee them out. So I don't know about you, but most of us are trying to hold on to our bone density, not throw it away. So again, carbonated drinks, something to have in absolute moderation. Fruit juices, similar thing. Fruit juices should be diluted. Dilute them right down so there's just a little bit of flavour there, because most fruit juices are naturally full of sugar, because that's what we've extracted from the piece of fruit. We've literally got rid of the fibre, and what we're left with is the natural sugars from the fruit. And you can easily drink the equivalent of 10 pieces of fruit and the sugar from those 10 pieces of fruit, rather than sitting and eating the fruit itself, which you'd never do. But when you eat the fruit, you get all the minerals and all the nutrients. But if you drink something that's been pasteurised and put in a bottle and sat on a shelf for 3 months, there's not a lot of vitamins and minerals in that. So there's some tips for you. Now, what I want you to do is be completely honest about your energy inputs, what you put into your body, whether it's what you eat, what you drink, what you smoke, what you inject, or whatever tablets or vitamins that you take. So I want you to go to the section, which is key principle number 3 on energy inputs, and fill that in right now, and then come back to me. See you soon.